Hey guys, Hatter here. I just wanted to quickly jump in and let you guys know that our mini episodes are going to be moving to early morning on Thursday. So you're not going to lose any episodes. We're just slightly shifting the time to make a better balance between things. Anyways, thank you for listening and we hope you enjoy. Keep investigating. In 1872, Julia Hessler had made a stop at a small inn on the Osage Mission Trail. She watched her stagecoach rumble down the road, then turned to face the cabin. A self-proclaimed spiritualist invited Julia inside for their scheduled seance. But she got a sinking feeling. A strong stench filled the cabin, and flies swarmed. But she sat anyways, closing her eyes to prepare for the ritual about to take place. Lucky for her, she opened her eyes to see several people standing behind the spiritualist, one of which was holding a heavy stone tool. Terrified, Julia ran and managed to get to safety. That sinking feeling she had would later be confirmed when 11 corpses were found buried on the cabin's land. I am your host, Hatter, along with
Cass
and Scoot,
and welcome to Investigation. Today I'm going to take you all on a journey back to the frontier once again, which at this time in the 1870s was a lawless land. And not necessarily because people were reckless, but because there simply wasn't enough law. It was a place without systems, without structure, a place no one really noticed if something had gone wrong. Sheriffs covered huge areas, and many were either corrupt or just outnumbered. Communication was slow. And like we said time and time again this month, records were inconsistent, if not just completely non-existent. People would come here to build lives, start over, or try to disappear from whatever they had left behind. And it did seem like a place of new opportunities. Long winding trails that stretched for miles across open land. No one following you, no one checking on you, no one waiting at the other end. During this time, if a traveler disappeared, there was often no one even looking for them, let alone able to report it. And given the state of how things were working, someone's absence didn't usually raise alarm. People moved through the frontier often, changing their names, moving west, or even vanishing by choice. So if someone disappeared, it didn't always mean that something had gone wrong. Usually, that is. The 1862 Homestead Act provided 160 acres to any U.S. citizen over the age of 21 to move onto a parcel of land for a small fee. They would improve it and own it after 5 years. Many people from the East Coast cities or Europe decided to move and build new lives on the frontier, but still towns were spaced out and community was sparse. In October 1870, 2 German immigrants arrived in southeastern Kansas along the Osage Trail, which led from Fort Scott to Cherryville and Independence. The Benders, a family of 4, established their home on the Osage. My brain reads it, and like I said, because I had the speech impediment when I was a kid, my first thing is just to say it how I read it, how it's spelled.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Even though it's spelled like O and Sage.
Yes.
Oh.
I don't know.
It's epidemiological all
It's
over
epidemiological. The Benders, a family of 4, established their home on the Osage Trail in southeast Kansas, about 8 miles northeast of the town of Cherryville. John Bender Sr. and John Jr. arrived first, registered adjoining claims, which literally means their land was right next to each other.
They were neighbors.
However, John Jr. never built anything on his land, nor made the improvements, so they would end up building a home altogether.
Do we know why?
Yes.
Oh, okay. I'm jumping ahead.
We're going to put a pin in that.
We're jumping ahead, and I thought that was Hatter's thing.
I am Hatter.
I know.
She's saying because I'm doing it this time.
Because Scoot was jumping ahead. I'm like, I thought that was a Hatter thing. I was trying to be funny, guys.
I am Hatter.
She just didn't get it. It just went over her head.
Yeah, well, I think, actually, technically, the roles switched because you were jumping ahead like Hatter does,
And I
and
said
then Hatter said, "Well, put a pin in it."
Right,
like
which is
Scoot.
why when you were like, I thought that was Hatter's thing, I was like, I am Hatter. Because
I
I
am.
had said the pin.
Yes, no.
That's,
Yeah, well, I also didn't want to interrupt you, so I waited until you were done.
yeah, no, of course. I was just confused.
Yeah.
Now, their land strategically faced the Osage Trail, and their nearest neighbor was about 3/4 of a mile away.
Wow.
Oh, wow.
Wow.
100 yards off the trail, the two men built a one-room home. This provided the perfect blend of being seen by passing travelers while still offering seclusion and privacy to their home.
I don't know. Yeah, I don't know. Just getting me weird vibes. That's all.
Yeah, those vibes would be correct.
Mm.
So this house measured 16 by 24 feet with a 9-foot ceiling. Below the house, they dug a 7-foot square cellar with a huge sandstone slab as its floor. A trapdoor led from the cellar to the house's one room, which was divided into 2 spaces. The general store area was at the front and the living space was at the back. These rooms were separated by a wagon canvas used as a curtain. I actually have a picture I'm going to send to you guys.
Oh, picture time.
Picture time.
Okay. I kind of see what we got going on here.
Yeah. So you can see the canvas in the middle, separating the 2 spaces. I don't think that
Yes.
this one is accurate to the actual size, but
Probably
it's just
not.
to give you guys an idea of what it actually looked like.
Yeah.
Because there's not much privacy with just that curtain there.
Well, yeah.
Like,
I
at
mean-
least sound-wise and stuff, too.
I don't think that they really cared. It actually wasn't used for privacy. So
no.
Oh no. Oh, by the way, her name is Lucy Darling. Her stage name is Lucy Darling.
Oh.
I thought it had, Darling.
Yes,
but her
behind
name
it.
that she posts on is Carissa or something like that.
Yeah.
Anyways. Now, outside of the cabin, they dug a well and built a rough stable. Sometime later in the 1870s or early 1871, 2 women arrived, and they opened their home to tired travelers looking for a place to rest. The family consisted of John Bender, who was 60. He was described as heavy-set, quiet, and distant, typically not speaking at all, or when he did, it was guttural and unintelligible.
Oh.
People recalled him as being unapproachable and unsettling, not necessarily aggressive, just odd.
Okay.
So just off-putting.
Yeah.
His wife, either Elvira or Alvira, with an A or an E, I've seen both, Bender, usually referred to as Ma, was 55. She was known for being harsh, blunt, pretty unfriendly. Some even pointed out that she was unfriendly to the point of discomfort.
Oh.
Yeah, and that's a direct quote from people who knew her.
Oh.
Yeah.
So we were just unpleasant just all around.
Yes. Yep, I'll see you next Tuesday if you catch my drift. They had 2 kids, John Jr. and Kate. John Jr. was around 25. And he would be described as laughing at inappropriate times, would often appear nervous and unstable, and would usually mumble and talk to himself, many referring to him as a half-wit.
Ah.
Okay.
And then there was Kate. She was 23, and she was very different from the rest of her family. She was described as being smart, articulate, engaging. She often held gatherings and gave lectures speaking about spiritualism, free love, and how to connect with the unseen.
Oh. So, the intellectual of the family.
Yeah.
It's giving Matilda.
Oh,
okay. Yeah.
I definitely see
no.
that.
But no.
No, this is way worse than Matilda.
She kind of, and obviously I get into it, but just as a little teaser, she's kind of more like the bait for the family.
Oh.
Mhm.
Oh no.
Oh no.
Oh, no.
But her being able to give these lectures and be so friendly, It did really engage with most people because spiritualism at the time was like taking off and it was widely believed and trusted in. So she was able to like really create connections that way. She even printed up handbills that read, quote, Professor Miss Katie Bender can heal all sorts of disease, can cure blindness, fits, deafness, and all such diseases, also deaf and dumbness. Residents 14 miles east of Independence on the road from Independence to Osage Mission, 1.5 miles southeast of Nora Head Station, end quote. Now, in case you don't know, a handbill is basically what we would call a flyer. That's just the term that they used back then, I guess. So
Gotcha.
now, many travelers would stop at the Bender Inn for refreshment and sometimes a night's sleep. The family lived in the rear of the home, behind the canvas partition, and served their guests in the front. In addition to offering a place to stay, like I said, Kate became known for performing seances in which she muttered gibberish and waved weapons. That is also a quote.
Waved weapons.
Waved weapons.
I don't
Okay.
understand.
I think in some sort of like just like a performance sort of thing, like
Okay.
to make it seem more legit than it was.
Okay.
Didn't say what type of weapons.
Just weapons.
Just weapons.
Okay.
Now, the family did keep mostly to themselves, but they also appeared to be struggling homesteaders who worked hard to earn their living, which was pretty common on the frontier at the time. In one account, however, a woman was unsatisfied with the seance that was provided when she demanded the side saddle, which she had traded. So she gave Kate the side saddle in return for a seance. And she demanded it back. She claimed that she was threatened and ran off the property.
Oh.
Mm-hmm. At the time, however, this claim wasn't given much credit as many looked to Kate's friendly demeanor and that she was a quote-unquote God-fearing woman as proof that it was untrue. They were like, nah, she's a good person. She believes in God. She wouldn't do that.
Gotcha.
Like,
Dude, that's like the oldest trick in the book, though.
right. That's why I was like,
Right.
I get that it's the 1870s. You don't know, but like, come on.
Yeah, like come on, like that's one of the main ruses people use now.
Now, it was also around this time that many travelers were disappearing, a few more than what was considered normal. In May 1871, the body of a man named Jones was discovered in Drum Creek. His head had been bashed and his throat was slashed.
Ew.
Originally, the blame fell to the owner of the land that the body was found on, but it could never be proven, so essentially it was just dropped. In February of 1872, a blizzard hit southeastern Kansas, and after it thawed, the bodies of 2 men were found. Like Jones in Drum Creek, their heads had been bashed and their throats were cut, so not exactly blizzard-related deaths.
Yeah.
Yeah, it'd be very concerning if it was.
Yeah. Okay, so in the middle of the recording, the power went out. So sorry about that abrupt break music. But yeah, so now we got a whole vibe set up. We're still going to record. We got an oil lamp going because we need to be able to see
The vibes.
the vibes. In the fall of 1872, a bachelor named Johnny Boyle set out on foot from the Osage Mission Trail with $1,900, which today would be about $51,500.
Okay.
So he had a lot of money on
He
him.
had a lot of
Yeah.
money on him.
Yeah, I'd say that's pretty, decent amount.
Yeah. He was planning to purchase some land, but he never returned and he never ended up buying any land. Henry Mackenzie, Ben Brown, and William F. McCrotty all also disappeared after leaving home with either money or some type of valuable.
Convenient.
Mm-hmm. So this was like fine coats or high-end horses. When these travelers would go missing, some of the family would sometimes search for them, but that search typically ended somewhere in southeastern Kansas where they could no longer trace them. George Launcher, along with his wife and daughter, had settled on land near Independence. However, after the death of his wife, George and his daughter, some sources say infant daughter, other claims she was a bit older, but either way she was young, he wanted to take her to stay with her grandparents in Iowa. He bought some horses and a wagon from a local doctor, William York, and he set off north. After George did not show up, the grandparents sent word back to Kansas that Launcher and his daughter had never made it to Iowa. Dr. York heard that a wagon and some horses had been found abandoned near Fort Scott, the horses nearly dead from starvation, and after he traveled to see the wagon, he was able to identify it as the one he sold to George. On Friday, March 28, 1873, the Lawrence Tribune reported that, quote, Dr. York returned to Fort Scott, attended to his business, and on Sunday left for home. Since that time, nothing has been seen or heard from him, end quote. After not returning home, Dr. York's brother, Alexander York, recruited a dozen men to search the surrounding area. But at the Bender farm, they only got the help of Kate offering to perform a seance for them. By now, there were too many mysterious disappearances to chalk them all up to coincidence. Rumors were spreading and other travelers began even avoiding the trail. Like I said, a few travelers disappearing wasn't notable, but 10 in the span of only 2 years was...
Oh, that's a lot.
That's strange.
Yeah, that's a lot.
Osage Township called a meeting where about 75 people gathered, and the town decided to search every homestead along this stretch of the trail, between Big Hill Creek and Drum Creek. By the time the group got to the Bender farm to be searched, they found the farm abandoned, livestock dead or almost dead, and the home completely empty except for 3 hammers, a knife, a clock, and a German Bible. Which is just weird.
Very strange. I'm about to say, that's kind of bizarre.
Yeah. The vile smell coming from the cellar trap door, which at the time was nailed shut, prompted the men to pry it open.
Yeah, I'd say that's not suspicious at all.
Right? Now, inside, they would find a 6-foot-deep hole filled with clotted and rotting blood, but no bodies.
Ew.
They would break the cellar floor with a sledgehammer, but that also produced no bodies. So they literally went outside, and one source said they picked up the cabin, like as a group of men, and moved it, which still, again, produced no bodies. But I couldn't find that I couldn't find that anywhere else, like in the sources, so I'm not sure if that actually happened. Either way, they did go outside to the garden area and the orchard. Seeing recently disturbed dirt, they uncovered the remains of Dr. William York, who had his head bashed in and his throat slashed. They continued searching and would find the bodies of Henry Mackenzie, Ben Brown, William F. McCrotty, George Launcher, and his daughter, and an unidentified man. John Boyle had been stuffed down the well, which is crazy.
I was going to say down the well.
Down the well. And some accounts also state that a man named John Greer and an unidentified woman were also found. The general consensus is that the Benders would seek their victims in the front of the house with their backs to the curtain, which they would then attack from behind, smashing their heads with a hammer before cutting their throats with the knife found on the property. They then would drag the body to the cellar until it could be buried outside.
Ew.
All of the victims were stripped to their underwear, and any clothing or valuables had been taken by the family.
Oh.
Why?
Oh, why?
I did not mean for it to come out like that.
That's just the way you said it was funny.
Why?
Why? The Benders were nowhere to be found. A cash reward was offered for the capture of each of the Benders, totaling about $2,000 at the time, which is today's equivalent of around $55,500.
Dang.
I want that.
I know, that'd be nice right about now. It does seem like this reward eventually was increased. An article published by the Kansas City Times in May of 1873 says, quote, rewards to the amount of $5,000 have been offered for the capture of the murderers, and there is not the slightest doubt that they would be recovered. On last Saturday, the detectives were on the trail of the Benders, and with the express certainty of effecting their speedy capture, it is more than probable they are already taken. With the number under arrest and the others watched, which I have no idea what that meant.
Read it again?
Yeah.
With the number under arrest and the others watched. And I took this from the article. So I don't know if it's meaning like the 4 of them were under arrest while others watched, or if the parents were placed under arrest while the others I don't know.
All right. Good job, article. Good on the detail.
Yeah,
Good job.
I don't speak 1870s lingo. But it continues with, no doubt someone will reveal the whole truth. When Kansas will be rid of the worst scoundrels that ever infested and cursed this country. End quote. Which also to note, $5,000 would be today's $138,758.
Dang.
So a lot of money.
A lot of money.
And as you can tell, the news of the murders spread fast, and in typical gruesome human activities, thousands flocked to the Benders' cabin, ripping it apart to take souvenirs. Wallboards and shingles were even taken, and some people pulled the stones from the well to take home with them.
Why?
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 Yeah.
I'm a little dumbfounded.
Yeah.
I'm not gonna lie. That's pretty wild.
It's actually really common with cases like during this time. The Villisca axe murders are another one that I would like to cover at some point. But basically, after it happened, there was no way to secure a crime scene. They didn't really know to do that. Like, a bunch of people flocked to the Villisca axe murder house, and some people even took pieces of the dad's skull home.
That is
Fucked.
yeah, that is a wild thought that you would show up to some place where something terrible happened just to take a souvenir.
Yeah. I can kind of understand, as it's been so many years, the interest nowadays being I would like to go to visit the Lizzie Borden house or the Villisca axe murder house.
That's different.
That's totally different than
completely different.
Right, than the murders just happening to then go, even just to go, but especially to take things from it.
Yeah.
It's just fucked. People
it's a little
are
icky.
fucked.
It's a little icky.
Yeah, very icky. So, but going back to this, so right now, even though that newspaper claimed that they would be caught super fast, and they're probably actually even under arrest right now, they weren't.
Oh, so they just lied?
They just lied. At a train station in Thayer, the Benders' wagon had been discovered, and a clerk said that they sold 4 tickets to Humboldt, and the people purchasing said tickets matched the description of the Bender family. Now, it starts getting messy, okay?
Start getting a little hairy.
Well, hold on. The people who I guess gave the description type of thing, did they know that they were wanted and had a reward? Because it sounds like they didn't, because they didn't do anything.
I feel like they didn't, because also you have to think, so the Benders knew as soon as people started kind of cracking down, they could, and so they got up, they fucking left.
Yeah.
So they got to the train station before really anything started being released about them.
Yeah, okay, that's why I was curious, because I'm I would have at least done or said something or reported it.
Right, if you had known.
Yeah, if I had known.
Yeah, I would imagine that they had no idea until afterwards when the police came to them and was like, hey, this is the Benders' wagon. Did you see these people? And they were probably like, oh shit, I did.
Yeah.
Which, speaking of, from Humboldt, they could have either gone through Native American territory and on to Texas, or they could have gone north to Kansas City and continued back east. So there's already 2 paths that
they could have taken.
Now, the train's conductor claimed that John Jr. and Kate disembarked at Chanute, then took the Missouri, Kansas, and Texas Railroad south to Red River County in Texas. And he said that Ma and John Sr. continued north on the train to Kansas City, where they got on another train bound for St. Louis. And we're gonna get messier, okay?
Oh my gosh.
Oh.
Yeah, so we already got like a bunch of paths that they could have
So
taken.
apparently we've only dipped our toes in it.
We've
right
only
now.
dipped our toes. Is this water
It looks
sanitary?
It
Looks
looks
questionable to me.
Yes. We quote a lot of Tarzan.
We do. And it's specifically that sentence too.
Well, that and then the
then
other day.
You wanna know? I wanna know. Can you show me?
We're gonna get copyrighted, guys.
You can't do that.
You can't do that. The mom of the podcast.
You're right.
You can't do that. So, sightings of the Benders happened throughout the Southwest, in Texas, Oklahoma, New Mexico, and Colorado. The Benders reportedly lived in outlaw camps and barren canyons and were always armed with a .50 caliber rifle. One detective in Oklahoma announced that he was hot on their trail and swore he would have them taken into custody soon. But after trailing them to the Wichita Mountains, he was never heard from again.
Oh.
Mm-hmm.
But conveniently suspicious.
And a bounty hunter suffered the same fate as he followed the family to Red River Station, which I believe was in Texas, like we were saying, where he was also never seen again. In 1880, 2 people were arrested in Nebraska, assumed to be the elder 2 Benders, and were brought to Kansas to be identified. It is claimed that they gave full confessions of the crime, but ultimately public opinion decided that they were imposters and the 2 were discharged.
Uh-huh.
I got some questions.
Yeah, we
It is, like, okay, already it's messy because the train conductor said that Ma and John Sr. went together when Kate and John Jr. went together, but now this is saying that the 2 women were together in Nebraska,
Yes.
but that they're actually imposters,
Yes.
and so they were discharged.
Okay.
Mm-hmm.
Okay.
Now, while the trial to decide if these 2 women were the Benders or not, because they did have like a full trial for it.
Okay.
And then the public opinion was like, nah, it's not them.
Okay.
A Pennsylvania paper released that the Benders were caught and executed in 1873. Now, this paper said, quote, S.A. James of Sigourney gives the information on the authority of an eyewitness who is sorry. This part makes me laugh. It's like in our cryptid episode when it's like from eyewitnesses who are responsible. This is the same thing. Gives the information on the authority of an eyewitness who is a responsible man. That's like, okay, good. That doesn't mean anything.
It does not. That means jack squat, people.
They're just he's responsible. He knows what he's talking about. It's like,
He must know what he's talking about as long as he's respectable.
Responsible. So close.
No cigar.
No cigar. Anyways, so this responsible man said that the notorious Bender family, 4 in number, were captured soon after the discovery of the murder of York. That's the end quote.
That's it?
Mm-hmm.
That's all?
Well, so that was the clipping that I took for that quote. It did go on to state that the family had been lined up and shot down by 9 riflemen.
Oh.
Right. Then after the supposed capture and furthermore release of those imposters, the same paper claimed that the capture was just the sheriff trying to line his own pockets and that the Benders were in fact executed. So they came back even harder on this. Because, like, people were like, hey, you know, the 2 women were supposedly just captured and you're saying they were executed back in 1873. And they were like, yeah, nah, that's just the sheriff trying to get rich.
Wow.
Oh my gosh, dude.
However, a pebble. However, a paper also printed in PA just a month after that one was, claimed that an eyewitness helped hang them back in 1873.
What?
were they hanged or were they shot?
That's my thing. Like, I was like, but there is more.
Oh, but wait, there's more.
But wait, there's more. In 1889, 2 women were accused of being the Bender women and were arrested. Leroy Dick, who was a part of the Bender search party, he was called to identify the women, and the court case did proceed in Kansas. So he was like, that's them. But a month later, evidence was produced that these women were actually in Michigan during the time of the murders.
What?
What?
What is happening with this case? This is so bizarre.
I can see the wheels turning on your guys' faces. But they're not going to line up, because nothing makes sense.
Nothing ever makes sense.
No. And still more newspapers claiming that the family had already died, or that, like, they were captured in some way, were printed, or even were printed to quell rumors that someone who actually died wasn't one of the Benders. Because now there were some cases of people dying, and they were like, oh my god, that was John Bender. And so the newspapers had to be like, no, that was a poor guy living in Nebraska. Like, shit like that. It got way out of hand.
Why do I have a sneaking suspicion they got away with it? With all of the what ifs?
Yep.
Shall I call it?
Your suspicions are not wrong. There is no proof of where the Bender family actually came from. They claimed that they were from Germany, but there are no records or prior history to account for that claim.
Well, they had a German Bible.
They did have the German Bible, as well as there was some accounts saying that when John Sr. would speak, sometimes he would speak in German. So I think that that's also why sometimes people claim that he mumbled, is maybe that he was just speaking
in another language.
But John Sr. would eventually be identified as John Flickinger, who was either German or Dutch. Flickinger. Now, he supposedly committed suicide in 1884.
Oh.
Mm-hmm. However, others think and rumors say that Ma and Kate killed him because he took all of the valuables when the family had fled Cherryville. So they're basically claiming that the family was there, John Sr. knew that they were coming down on them, so he packed up everything and left, and then the family basically had to follow, and then they killed him because he stole from them type of situation. Once again, those are kind of just rumors. It's more likely that he did commit suicide.
Gotcha.
And you might be a little bit surprised to find out that the family actually wasn't a family at all.
What? Oh!
The only 2 that were actually related seems to be Kate and Ma. Ma was actually born Elmira Meek and married another man named George Griffith. Together they had 12 children.
Holy.
12?
12.
Oh my.
One of which was Kate.
I was
Still,
saying,
oh
when
my.
she just took Kate.
Well.
What?
Wait, whoa!
Oh, no, okay, all right.
Well. Ma ended up killing her first husband with a hammer.
Oh.
Then married several other times, killing those husbands and her eldest children so that they could not testify against her.
Oh!
So she's a real see you next Tuesday, if you catch my drift.
Real psychopath, shall we say.
Yeah.
Now, John Jr., whose real name was John Gebhardt, and Kate were actually not siblings, as they often portrayed, but actually in a relationship.
Oh.
And it is rumored that at one point Kate had gotten pregnant, but that they killed the baby as soon as it was born to get rid of the baggage of it, basically. Cass is just aghast right now. A detective who claimed to follow all of the leads and traced John Jr. to outlaw country near the border of Texas and New Mexico found John Jr. dead from apoplexy, which is the historic term for like a stroke.
Ah.
Kate, whose real name is Eliza Griffith, married and went by the name of Sarah Eliza Davis, where she worked at the Bender Inn as a sex worker.
Oh, so that's where the name Bender came into play. Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah, well, I think that this is actually after the crimes.
Oh, after.
Mm-hmm.
So why would
Oh.
what?
What?
So why would they name something else? Or is this so this something was already existed, right?
Real name was Eliza Griffith. She
Yes.
married and ended up going by the name of Sarah Eliza Davis,
Yeah.
where she worked at a Bender Inn as a sex worker.
I think it's just
Okay, yeah,
coincidence.
so it's just a
Yeah.
coincidence with
Yeah.
the name.
With all of the sightings and supposed ways that the Benders died, and whether or not they traveled together or they split up, and if they split up, who split up with who, and where they went, we have no idea. We have no answers for that, basically. But during this time, we know that for sure John Sr. and John Jr. did end up dying before like anything really came of it. John Sr. died by suicide and John Jr. died by a stroke. The two women, we kind of have no answers for.
Okay.
But the bodies at their homestead were in fact there. They are something that we can be sure of. And so now the Benders kind of live in infamy. And unfortunately, justice for their crimes won't ever be able to be served, which is an unfortunate and annoying way to close this case. But that's all we kind of got. It's just...
So I guess I do have a question. You probably don't have the answer to this, but if they weren't technically a family, how did they even, like, cross paths to even, like...
I don't...
Yeah, to like
start
even
this.
pretend to be one.
Because I get,
like, yeah,
I get
they'd
Ma
have to-
and Kate were legitimately mother and daughter.
Yeah, but like how would the other two loop in? It's like they would
Well,
literally
the other
have
one
to
looped
like
in because he was in a relationship with Kate, but John Sr., how did he, like, come into play with it?
yeah, like
Yeah.
it's like they would have had to like approach him
Well,
like, hey,
I think that they were all kind of like drifters.
Mm-hmm.
And so they just sort of crossed paths and ended up like banding together. Because like John Jr. and Kate didn't even know each other at first.
Yeah,
But then
okay.
as they like formed, it's rumored that they got into a relationship with one
Okay.
another. Yes.
Gotcha.
Yeah, so it just kind of seems like they were, you know, drifters who got together, crossed paths. And I always say that though. I'm like, how do people like this find each other? And they're just like, yeah, that's a good idea. Let's kill people for their money.
Yeah.
right? Like
Like the murder ring, the poison, arsenic murder ring.
Yeah.
Every time I like revisit that case in my head, I'm like, how did that many people just be like, hell yeah, sounds
Right.
good to me. I don't
I know.
I don't get it. I don't
know.
get it at all. But yeah, that closes this case out, man.
That was a wild one.
Yep, definitely.
Out in the wild, wild west.
A wild one in the Wild West.
Oh, well, thanks for listening, guys. If you enjoyed this episode, share it with your mother. So catch us in the next episode on Wednesday. It's going to be Haunted Waters. Ooh.
We're doing something a little bit different.
Yes, a little different.
I don't know why I
Switch
said
it
it
up
like
on
that.
y'all.
I'm going back to the water finally.
The waters. Spooky waters.
Freaking you
And
land lovers, man.
We'll be going into Louisiana.
Yes.
It's our first mini of Louisiana, so.
I mean, they're definitely known for their water, so
For sure.
be
All right.
interesting.
Well, I don't think they're both in Louisiana. Mine is.
Mine is not.
Ah.
Right. Because our minis, they're not expected to be in the state, but sometimes it just lines up where it's like there's a perfect puzzle
Yes.
piece fits in, so.
Yeah.
All right. Well, don't go too far, guys, because we'll catch you in the next investigation. Bye-bye.
Bye.
Bye.